Welcome to Every Horror Movie on Netflix, the show where we watch, review, discuss, talk about,
sometimes argue about
every horror movie on Netflix, every goddamn one of them, usually in alphabetical order. Today we're in the A's. We're doing At the Devil's Door. At the Devil's Door.
We are at the Devil's Door right now.
I feel like I've lived my whole life at the Devil's Door. I'm Chris. I'm here once again, as always, with Patrick.
Hello.
Elizabeth.
Hello.
And who is this man?
This is Steven. Hello. Hello.
No surprises today. It's all of us talking about this fantastic film, At the Devil's Door.
Fantastic. Would you view it, Chris? Come on, tell us.
Well, we'll get to that.
What do you think the devil's address is?
666.
The number of the beast. We get that right in the opening.
I know.
There was a Far Side cartoon once where there's a contractor hanging the address above the devil's door, and it says 999, and the devil's there like fucking upset, and he's like, the contractor's like, "Oh, I was holding the work order like this." Great comic.
That reminds me of the Simpsons gag about the Far Side, where Homer's just going through Far Side comics. He's like, "Don't get it, don't get it, don't get it." Don't get it. Don't get it.
Well, you have to be well versed in the occult to get the one about the devil's address being 666. But
Is that well versed?
I think we all know what the number of the beast is.
well, I didn't get it until I found a black magic practitioner on Craigslist who could explain it to me over the course of 3 months. But why reference much better IFC Midnight movies when we can talk about this one? At the Devil's Door.
At the Devil's Door.
At the Devil's Door.
Confusing
At the Devil's
title.
Door.
Puzzling title.
Confusing title. I'm not sure.
You know what the original title was? This
one.
might blow your minds and might give us something. It might change the conversation we're talking.
Let us
Let's
guess.
guess.
Yes, take it. You're not going to guess it.
Short sale.
No.
Okay.
That's good though. That's good. That's really
wait,
good.
let me think.
That's good.
Get it out of me.
That's a great title.
That's a great title, too.
Great title. Let's make that movie, Chris. Got to guess.
Unholy Conception.
No, that was the alternate title for Anti-Birth.
Immaculate Conception.
It was called Home. Just Home.
That makes even less sense.
Imagine, but then they made that movie about the kids movie
Yeah,
about
it's like
with
aliens or something, yeah.
called Home. Imagine if they switched if you take
In the
that,
theater.
Yeah, in the theater they switch it. Oh god. Anyway,
So reflect on what that means as we approach.
Reflect on your own
this film.
definition of home.
yeah,
Sure.
home is where
Yeah,
the
I
heart
mean-
is. And this is a real estate thriller first and foremost.
Another one, right?
Yeah, did no mentions of escrow this time, but I did think of Abattoir several times.
I
in
did
this.
too.
Yeah.
Because basically, well, I don't know. It's hard to describe the plot because there's kind of various threads of this
I
movie.
mentioned to Patrick earlier that I didn't come up with this idea on my own, but it's kind of like a Brian De Palma movie where your sympathies shift and your expectations are subverted the entire movie. This is a movie where, once you think you know who the protagonist is and what's going on, the rug gets pulled out from under you. What we can say is it begins with, so there's a girl, it's in the 80s, right? Like
Yeah.
late 80s.
Well, first of all, it begins with a young girl's voice saying,
Oh, yeah, but even before that.
Some bullshit.
Jack, this
it
is the
doesn't matter.
number,
About the
of,
number
the
of the
beast.
beast.
Remember, it's a sea monster coming out of this sea. I was like, that's a great opening. I already got in my mind the image of a monster coming out of the sea. I'm like, ooh, this could be creepy. But we've got a young girl. She's on a trip to California. She's met a cute boy. We see him cuddling in bed. And she is being invited to play some sort of game with someone that she doesn't know. We don't really know what's
uncle.
going on.
It's his uncle.
It's his uncle?
And,
Yeah.
And he's saying to her, like, they're going to make a lot of money.
It's $500,
Yeah.
which I guess is a lot of money if you're 16.
Dude, that's a lot of money now, and I'm older than 16.
I mean, I wouldn't balk at $500, but to sell your fucking soul, which is what happens, right?
Yeah.
We know what's going on
and
here
it's
before we even see it.
a pretty good scene.
My soul is worth more than $500.
They have a little Watchman pin. That,
She has a little, yeah. It's the comedian smiley face pin, and she has to play like
I beg to differ about it being a good scene.
she plays the game where you like with the cups game where
Yeah,
you put
3
something
cups.
under it and then you move them around and you have
And
to guess
guess
which one
what?
it's
They
under.
do it wrong. I was watching those
Yeah.
cups, and it's never in the right
That's
cup. But
part
then I
of the-
thought maybe
that's
there's some
part of the
magic
spook.
going on
That's
here.
part of the spook. There's definitely magic going on.
I don't feel like it was done well enough for like me to get
I
that the
got
filmmaker
it.
knew that that's what he was doing. I was like, this could just be really terrible continuity, or there's something else. going
No,
on here.
I got it because it's right the first time and then it's wrong the other 2 times, but she
Yeah.
still gets it because she's the chosen one.
I'm glad you guys thought about this as much as I did.
No, I loved it. Yeah, no, I love that. And then he's like, "Okay, you're the chosen one. Go out to the dusty crossroads and say your name so he can hear you." And she's already.
Why
got
does
the,
she
you know,
do this?
She's already got the $500.
She's in
Holy
love with
shit.
the kid, and she's kind of punk. She's skeptical. She's like, whatever,
And
you
he's
know.
dreamy. I mean, she says to her friend when she gets back home, like, he looks like someone who'd be from California. Like something to that extent.
Dreamy.
Right? So she's smitten, but like, I mean, come on, why does she just blindly follow
Dude,
me?
these
no
young.
sense
This
to
is
me.
what young women
And we
do.
don't know, like, it would
Go
I would-
into a trailer and play a weird ass game with
I
someone's
guarantee
creepy ass
you, if
uncle
I was
for
16 years
$500.
old and like the boy I was in love with at the time was like, "Come do this," I would have jumped off a fucking cliff.
I need more motivation. That I'm like, are they hooked on drugs and they need the $500? It's like, sell your fucking.
And she
soul
bought
so we
some
get
new
heroin.
shoes.
She did have great shoes.
No, well,
And I
that's the
didn't get a
thing.
sense of how old she was. I didn't get a sense of her
I
being
thought
16.
she could be 16. She could be 26.
Yeah, I thought they were an
Like,
adult couple.
But
Yeah.
that's the thing. So,
I mean, you learn later she's a teen, but I
Yeah.
thought they were an adult couple.
I didn't know what time it was. I was like, well, people dress like that now anyway. Apparently, it's the 80s again.
if someone
Right,
was
yeah.
like, "Let's sell your soul for $500,"
Yeah.
soul selling, like who? Why would you think that you were actually selling your soul?
Right. Right. I would be like, sure, I'll indulge this
Yeah,
crazy
I'll
person.
indulge
Well, no,
this
but she
crazy
was
man.
like teary-eyed. I mean, she was like very nervous
She
about
was
it.
nervous because
freaked
the
out.
guy looked like a son of anarchy. Like he was like a creepy dude.
No, this is a very like Breaking Bad sort of scene.
yeah, it was
here.
a very. It was the same trailer from Anti-Birth,
It was.
but it was in
No,
the
it was
desert.
not as immaculately dressed as
Yeah.
that was the best trailer in existence. But
that's basically plot line 1. There's this girl who sells her soul to creepy guy, and then she goes home, and we see her go home, and like weird stuff's happening.
She becomes haunted.
Haunted stuff's happening in her home. Then enter plot line 2.
yeah, then we meet. I don't even know what country she's from. Is she?
A Latin American country.
I'm not comfortable speculating.
I'm not
but-
either because I thought like maybe she's like Iranian or something.
Well, their names are Vera and
Lee.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
I don't
One of
think-
them was born in America. One wasn't. Anyway,
That's
this-
the only reason it matters is because they talk about how one was born
Right.
here, one was born at home.
Their
and
accents are different.
Yeah.
Not entirely clear where in the world they're from.
Yeah.
One has what I thought was a Hispanic accent.
Yeah, that's
a Latin
what I thought
American
And it takes place
accent.
in New Mexico.
Yeah, both of the actresses are Hispanic.
Let's find out. I feel embarrassed that I said
looking it
Iranian.
up.
I mean, I was just
No,
like,
I don't know.
The actresses are Naya Rivera and Catalina Sandino Moreno,
One of them's
who
on-
is Colombian in real life. So,
Oh,
yeah, I don't
okay.
know if that's where the character
South
is
American.
supposed to be from.
Yeah, and one of them's on Glee, and one of them was in something else kind of big too.
Oh shit! I just thought of the most exciting cast member, Wyatt Russell. Kurt
that?
Russell and Goldie Hawn's kid is in this playing.
Who the fuck is he?
He plays the boyfriend who wanders out in his boxers. Who's
Oh.
like pretty
The blonde
charming,
dude.
and he's been in a few decent movies too. He was in Everybody Wants Some, and I don't know, something else I looked
I
up.
would expect
Sorry for
much
that detour.
more. I would expect much more from Kurt Russell's kid than what we get out of that kid in this movie.
He was terrible.
Yeah.
His acting was. I mean, he
What
wasn't.
the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, I like him a lot. Actually,
I hope they have another kid because this one's
I don't think they're having any
Not
more
up to
kids.
par.
Too.
I hope they have another kid that can entertain me.
So anyway, we have Lee, who is a lawyer. No, what? She's a realtor.
she knows her way around escrow, but she's not a lawyer.
And it's the housing crisis, and she's struggling a bit because all these houses are in foreclosure or whatever. She gets called to sell a house that's not a foreclosure. It's a good home, the Greenville home.
Right. There's a little bit of fire damage in it, but otherwise it's fine.
Yeah, the parents are eager to sell it. They need money, and their teen daughter has recently run away.
And it's big at that point. We think maybe the teen daughter is the girl we saw at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Because that scene at the beginning of the movie takes place in the 80s, but it's not totally clear. I mean, she's talking on a phone that's connected to the wall, so that raises some eyebrows. But yeah, it's at that point we think, well, maybe they're kids, the same kid we just saw, who also kind of ran off with a boy to do some devil stuff.
So I thought that for a long time.
Yeah, I did.
And you're supposed to.
I think you're supposed to. So we have her, and then we also meet her Lee's sister, who is an artiste and lives in a fashionable loft.
We don't really see any of her art. I mean, we see
like one
she makes
bad
some like
watercolor.
she has a bad
horror,
watercolor
this is not.
from when she was like a kid and she's embarrassed of it. And then we see these like really kind of like Target looking like photo frames that she makes for her sister, and that's it. She has an art show and we don't even see the art. She's just like in a back room somewhere.
So the kid, the young girl who was in New Mexico and ran off with the guy, isn't the old couple's daughter?
No,
No,
remember?
no.
No. We meet the old couple's daughter later.
Yep.
She's blonde and in the office. Remember?
Yep. There's a terrifying reveal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really confusing.
Yeah.
I was just as confused as you were. Like, I sorted it all out by the end, but I don't think this movie was very well put together, at least in that section, like that first third.
Yeah. Very, very, puzzling.
Anyway, yeah, so what's her name? What's the real estate agent's name?
Lee.
Lee is trying to sell this house, and it's set against the backdrop of some kind of financial crisis, or rather, I thought.
Yeah, which financial crisis could that possibly be?
Well, I don't know if
1930, 1929.
It's a Depression era horror
set
film.
the same movie in 1931, and it's probably
And it's
much
Abattoir.
better. Funny, yeah. Yeah, so, and, it seemed like they were trying to build to some sort of commentary. Like,
They definitely were. Which one was this? Was this movie made in 2009?
No, 2014.
There's so much hashtag topical, radio news broadcast that you hear in the background about the financial crisis and the housing crisis.
It
Just in
reminded me
case you
of,
didn't get the idea.
Falling down, like just
Yeah,
this
yeah.
constant radio chatter and this setting where it's like, oh, it's hard out here. We're all working.
Well, and the
it's hard
characters
out here.
talking about money. I mean, there's even like an awkward financial transaction between
The sisters.
Vera and Lee, and
Yeah.
you get the sense that they're really trying to comment. There are so many scenes in this movie that take place in houses that are being renovated or have been cleaned out to be sold, all the way up until the end. It never means anything.
The first half of this movie is a comment on the death of the American dream.
I love when
I think it's trying to be.
I love
half-heartedly.
when Lee first gets the call about the house and someone's asking her to, be the realtor or whatever for the house. And she's on the phone. We just hear her end of the conversation and she goes, "Is it a foreclosure? Oh, no, it's not. Great." Like, they just drive home. So it's not a
so
foreclosure.
telegraphed, yeah.
It's
Very poorly acted.
The American
Yeah.
Dream knocked on the devil's door, and the devil let it in.
yeah.
Let's talk about the devil. Why don't we get into it?
Well,
that's what we're here
Okay,
for.
so
Well, I-
she's trying to sell this fucking house, and this house is haunted as fuck, guys.
Yeah.
That's basically end of story, but I can elaborate a little bit. She's seeing weird stuff in the mirror. There's burn marks on the floor, and I love that they use seller's disclosures as a plot device in this movie. I thought that was hilarious. That's
Well,
great.
and the young teen girl, Charlene, who we see at the beginning, keeps appearing in this house.
she keeps appearing
in her red raincoat.
In a red raincoat.
peeking it
That's a
out,
little
running
Don't
off.
Look Now
Yeah,
nod.
I kept thinking of Don't
Yeah.
Look Now.
Oh, well, let me just say, first of all, any movie that involves the devil and has conspicuously placed red objects that are really punched up in the color grade, automatic 2 points in my book.
I'm with you there.
I like that, too.
Loved it.
Any
2
movie
points,
where
2
you
points out of how many?
Can we talk
Out of
about
10.
how much we
Oh,
see the
wow.
devil in this movie? Can we get there yet?
You know what? I don't know how much I saw the devil in this movie.
I saw more than I expected and just enough for my taste.
Yeah, it was scary.
Did we see the...
We see glimpses of shit that may or may not be the devil. I mean,
Well,
it's
yeah.
the devil. It's got to be the devil.
Well,
It's gotta be.
you see him,
And
I
the-
recall 4 times.
And the devil is such an interesting figure, the way he's represented in this movie, because one, he really likes to hide in cupboards.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's like
Loved
his safe
it.
place.
Safe haven.
Oh, right. There was that one thing that looked like a fucking lamprey. Okay, I remember one
And
time.
sometimes
And
he's
it's-
dark, and sometimes he's light like Krampus.
I thought the same fucking
Yeah.
thing. He looks like Krampus in the
Well, and at one point
Yes.
he sheds the skin of the Charlene.
Oh, that was
and
creepy because
yeah.
the skin just drops off like a
Yeah.
cloak, and he's just there, like menacing in the background.
Smoky,
Love
just
it.
a smoky figure.
No, he's not smoky. He looks very. I mean, he's like blurred out, but he's very rigidly defined.
Off cast.
Blurred out. What?
He's like out of focus, but he's like clearly it's like a guy in a fucking suit standing there.
Oh, it just looked like a smoke creature to me.
Did you watch this in 480p? Well, he's not just in the details; he's live in the flesh. He's
Live in the flesh. You're seeing him. So yeah, he's just kind of part of the haunting. And there's other vaguely supernatural stuff happening too. You know, lights going off, things moving around.
You know how I love lights going on and off in these horror movies.
Yeah.
It's scary
and
shit.
then the devil, his catchphrase, "Come to me."
come to me.
I like the voice of the devil. I felt like that was well employed. Kind
Who
of
played
creepy.
that?
I don't know. Some guy that they could only afford to read one line.
Huh.
I guess I didn't get such a clearly defined sense of the devil. I just kept thinking. I mean, I guess it's called At the Devil's Door, so it is the devil.
I didn't think it was the devil either,
there's
but I
just
was like,
sort of
well,
a
it must be.
It could be.
But the
generic
devil is like,
evil
what
presence.
is? Let's talk about this. What is the devil's deal? I mean, he's just
What's the deal with
what's
the
the deal with the
devil?
devil? I mean, I imagine the devil, Satan, Beelzebub, is like this all-powerful figure who can do anything. But
The Prince of Darkness.
He's like,
he's
he's like
the Prince
opening
of Darkness.
cupboards.
He's hiding in cupboards. He's hiding in closets. He is
I
just
think this is a
hanging out.
minion.
He's hanging
Yeah.
out at random crossroads in the fucking desert in
Yeah,
This is a
California.
minion.
Why do we think it's the devil? We think it's
He's
the devil.
body hopping through young girls. Like, can he do more than that? What happened to the devil that he's in such a desperate place?
This isn't the original real devil. This is a minor subshoot.
Yeah,
think,
see, this is why
yeah.
I don't. That's why it didn't strike me as a distinct character necessarily, and it didn't strike me as like the Satan, like the Prince of Darkness. It just struck me as some generic evil spirit, demon, whatever.
Duke at best.
Title of the movie aside.
I mean, yeah. Title aside, the evidence that we have is that he's the devil is basically the title of the movie, and otherwise,
Which is not
and
the
the-
original title, so I guess maybe we're not supposed
And
to
what
think he's
we're
the devil.
and
That was a
other than that,
marketing move.
maybe we're taking the word of the guy in the trailer who were like, yeah, maybe he just summoned up like a low level demon.
It seemed more low level, I do admit.
And I mean, that said, there is some stuff that we'll talk about when we get to the spoiler room that is kind of the MO of the devil himself versus low level demons that happens. Well, but yeah, he could.
Well, there's the two like voiceovers about the number of the beast too, which I
yeah,
guess is sort of
it could have been a low level demon,
yeah,
but
just seemed like a lesser.
whatever. We'll call him the devil. You know what? If the devil wants to hide out in the closet,
Let him.
let him.
Fine, yeah, sure.
He
He's
moves-
just a
yeah.
little too big to fit in there.
People
but
see Jesus' face on a shower curtain or in their toast.
To each demon his
some
own.
people see the devil in the closet. They see the
Yeah.
devil in the spice drawer. Like,
Yeah.
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 all right, okay. Well, didn't scare me anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't very.
I mean, dude,
was it
I-
scary? Was this movie scary?
No.
I did, yes, because here's why I say this every podcast. Women protagonists alone in rooms don't like it.
Yeah.
It's scary. And clearly more than other movies that we've watched, the devil or the presence in this movie just will fuck right with you. I mean, there's a scene at the very beginning where like the original Charlene the teen is in her room, and
The
like
OG.
cupboards are opening, closets opening, standard stuff. All of a sudden her body gets shot into the air and all of her bones are broken. This is not like, usually these movies take the whole movie to build up to that, but
That's a good point.
this guy is just going right for it. So that like if someone sees a cupboard open or sees a figure in the mirror, they're probably getting fucked right away.
Although, weird thing about that bone breaking thing, because it does appear, I mean, she is lifted into the air on her
I think he
back.
just cracked her
and
back.
then,
It was
it looks like he cracked her back, but then she's back after that. She continues to walk around.
I mean, I think
She-
she's
Exactly.
possessed.
She's got the devil inside her.
Yeah, he
the
entered.
devil
The
is body hopping.
enters. He's body hopping. He's wearing people like a costume.
yeah, I guess that's true.
And he's
Well,
like,
but
if I'm
then how
gonna
does she-
spend time
so-
in your body, we're gonna fix that scoliosis first, like, right out the gate. Like, I
So
want to
then-
be comfortable.
But then how does she get to commit suicide then?
Basically, she's possessed by the devil.
She's possessed by the devil. She's kind of still trying to live her life. She's babysitting. She like leaves a baby. abandoned and is being a creep, and after that she feels so bad about herself that she goes home and commits suicide.
Yeah.
And
The
this
more we
is
talk about this, the more I realize I don't know what the fuck is going on with this girl in this movie. Because she commits suicide, but then we see her again years later.
what they needed to do is make it more clear when she's really alive and when she's a ghost, or when she's an apparition or
Well, in
whatever.
modern day, she's an apparition.
Yeah, but like when that babysitting scene happened, I didn't know if that was the 80s or modern day.
Oh, it was the 80s for sure.
Okay.
There's no indication.
Yeah,
of
but
that
there's
whatsoever.
and time periods are not clearly communicated here. Like you can do that easily with costuming and other shit,
I
and
will
they don't
agree.
do that.
I will agree. The design, the costume design, the art design of the party did not.
Like, give a lady some
Say.
puffed sleeves,
Yeah.
and we'll know.
But no, I mean, because once they established the truth that this girl killed herself in the 80s, anytime you see her and she's not like being creepy as fuck, and she's living in her same bedroom and shit, like,
Right, you
yeah.
know. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah.
But what's up with that backbreaking thing, though?
I thought that was just a possession deal. Like, that was the moment of the devil possessing her.
You got the devil. He made a deal with Charlene, and now he's gonna come and he's gonna like basically try to possess Charlene, take her fucking soul, wear her skin as a suit, gallivant
do
around.
what?
To
To
fuck
like
with
put a baby
babies?
under a fucking cabinet? Like that's all he did. Like the devil has a human body now. He doesn't do anything with it except be like a depressed teenager.
Well, that's true. Okay, well, she can't handle it. She's like, okay, well, you know, maybe he hadn't fully set in because he's
okay.
still, you know, because she feels him setting in more. There's a scene where she's trying to like say the Lord's Prayer and she can almost say it, but she can't quite say it. She's still there. She doesn't have full blown devil possession syndrome yet.
It's very much like the possession shit in Anguish.
But is she dead or is she not?
She's not dead until she hangs herself.
It
it's
doesn't make
bad
sense.
storytelling.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It doesn't make sense.
It's bad storytelling, and it's not even interesting.
All this
But
stuff.
Yeah. I think the most surprising thing that happens mid-movie is you think that first you thought our protagonist was Charlene. Then you're like, okay, Lee's the protagonist. Real estate agent, good to go.
And she's uncovering the mystery.
And she's uncovering the
of
mystery.
what happened to Charlene, which ultimately we'll just make sure it's on the record that Charlene ended up getting possessed by the devil through this traumatic, like back-breaking looking procedure. The devil started to influence her to do this arbitrary bullshit, hiding babies, whatever.
Hiding babies. That's all she did.
didn't like it. We actually find out that she was pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
oh, that's
Charlene was
right.
pregnant.
Yeah.
And she hangs herself. She's like, I'm done. I'm cashing out. I'm not playing the devil's game. He can keep his $500.
And Lee Lee finds the newspaper article about this, and it's like sort of uncovering like, oh, I'm seeing this girl in this house. Is this house haunted? What's going on? And most people think Charlene died or committed suicide because she was pregnant and didn't want to tell anyone. But anyway, all of a sudden,
Devil
shows up.
He's like, hey,
He's in the house, and he decides to backbreak Lee herself.
same play, but actually he says something. I don't remember if it. Does anyone remember like how that's communicated? Because the devil is like, I actually like your sister better.
Yeah. Well, it's because I don't know, but
I forget how that's communicated.
Yeah.
I forget how that's communicated, but it is like I think it might be the voice that's like, I don't want you, and like
he makes it like a bad joke.
He just does like a scan of her womb, and he's like, "Fuck this! No, your sister's got to be a better match for me."
I guess
I don't know.
Or
I don't
does he
know. I
say
don't
something
know
about
what
the
devil's
artist? He says
thinking.
something about how he's like likes artists or something.
I don't remember
devil
how it
does?
happens.
I don't know.
The devil has a conversation with her.
He says like one line.
He has like two lines. He has like two lines. One of them is "come to me," and it's done over and over and over again.
Yeah,
and then one of
sure.
them is he does indicate that he wants
What
the
if
sister
I want to fuck
better.
your sister?
Which that's just low class.
Yeah, and Lee's dead. No
And
more.
then Lee,
she has
the same
broken on the
back
floor.
breaking, but she just dies this time. She's dead on the floor.
She's done.
So then enter our third protagonist,
Vera.
Vera. So when I was watching this, I was thinking about what Elizabeth said when we were watching Three-Headed Shark Attack, which is that this is a character replacement movie. Like, we're just like, okay, yeah, I'm down with Charlene. Oh wait, no, now I'm down with Vera or Lee or whatever. Now I'm down with her sister.
Yeah, there's no
Guess
problem.
what? I wasn't down with almost anybody as this thing went along. I was like, well, interesting that you just like supplanted my expectations, but like I don't give a fuck about any of these
that's
people.
the point, though. You don't like. It's not really any sort of set. Like, it's all right.
Maybe my standards are just low, but I didn't have a problem.
I enjoyed
relating to any of
myself,
them.
but
I didn't have a problem with them.
I didn't find much to connect to.
and it looks good. The movie looks good.
It's good looking.
I actually thought all those actresses were fine.
I thought they were all great.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Why not?
But anyway, Vera is the protagonist now and is devastated because her sister is dead.
And she doesn't understand why.
No, how could you?
But there's this weird scene with the doctor where it's like a deep vein thrombosis.
Oh, yeah. There's they do an autopsy and everything. Like, oh, she was perfectly healthy. She just died. It happens.
Yeah, that was sort of weird.
So she eventually decides, okay, she's going to go to the house and investigate
Where Lee died. She's going to go there.
where Lee died and find her own truth.
What'd you guys think of Vera's apartment?
Beautiful.
Oh, the loft? Oh, fucking amazing.
Stunning.
What does that cost?
Well, I
it
know.
reminded me of the Russell Industrial Center. I was like, was this?
So it's an
in
amusing
Detroit?
contrast to the housing crisis.
Well, it's
that
so funny
somehow
because
she has this massive warehouse.
It just demonstrated that these people did not know what they're talking about because they're like they have several lines where it's like, I just worry about you in that loft. It's like, dude, this is the nicest real estate in this whole movie.
Well, I mean, but it's a loft, and like I bet those windows are pretty drafty.
Yeah, but
But
whatever.
she's got
Worth
Kurt
it.
Russell's son to warm her up at night.
You guys couldn't see me wink at Steve. Just there.
It was a pretty great wink.
But I mean, the movie was, not that bad. It had good cinematography. It had decent performances. It had some eerie stuff. It had jump scares if you're into that. Some things popping up in the mirror. Cabinets opening up.
Devil's in there sometimes.
Pictures
Yeah, more
fly off
often
the
than
wall.
not, the devil is in the cabinet.
Burglar alarms.
Oh
Jolting out of
yeah,
your seat.
and there was a lot of creep.
Lots of creepy. The devil is a scary thing.
You know what? I just wonder.
I think maybe we shouldn't get into this. I
About
mean, he's
whether or
not
not it's the devil.
He's not
Yeah.
there. Who cares?
Who cares?
But is it appropriate to just use the devil lightly like this?
I think it's an invitation for the filmmakers, so I would worry about their safety.
I agree. I mean, I just don't think you can just make a movie where you just have a mediocre devil in a cabinet.
That's the million movies have devils and demons.
Are you
in
worried
them.
about the repercussions for misrepresenting the devil?
Yes. I think if you insult Malboja, he will come for you.
I
Well,
mean,
you
I
know
can only
what?
hope. I want to make a movie with the devil now.
My devil is super powerful and handsome, and he will never come for me because
He's a handsome devil.
I speak only his praises.
I just think that when you're going to do stuff with the devil, you got to really do stuff with the devil.
I mean, the devil's the ultimate evil.
I know.
So,
This movie would have been just as fine with a generic evil.
yeah.
I think that's what we got.
That is what we got.
Yeah, really, we're just putting so much
We've already
stock.
been over
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry.
Been
I'm
over, but
sorry.
This movie's
We've
there's
been
a
over
lot to-
everything.
There's a lot to process, and I wanted the real devil in the flesh, and
Yeah.
I was projecting that onto it, and eventually I settled in and realized this is a sub-level demon, the devil's chauffeur or something. Who knows?
I want to believe it's still the devil, just based on the third act, which we can't talk about yet. But yeah, there are some twists, there are some turns. Third act is almost. I liked it. I'll speak for myself, but I liked it.
Luckily, with 3 protagonists, it's easy to tell what act you're in.
Yeah, it is. And it really is.
That's a great point.
It really is basically broken up on those points. I mean, without talking about the spoilers, did you guys enjoy the end of the movie, the third act? I mean, did you have problems with it? Should someone,
I wasn't moved by it, but I did have fun with this movie. I'll say that.
I thought it was stupid. It's another one of these movies where my reaction when the credits rolled was just, well, that was stupid.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I did think it was stupid, but I still had fun. It was back to the Brian De Palma thing. It was like, I just love to see the twists keep coming and coming and coming. I don't care if it pays off or means anything. It kept me interested.
This movie had more twists than many of the movies. There were moments where I was more shocked in this movie than I'd been since I found out Jay was evil.
This movie had more twists than a box of Red Vine licorice.
Yum. I think it depends on what kind of attitude you watch these movies with, I like movies that just go there. They just take every possible plot and just use it.
A Dark Song did that. I mean, it just fucking goes, and it works.
And so does this in a way. Devil in the Cabinet, Hidden Baby, Ghost, Apparition, crazy suicides, pregnancies.
Yeah. Guy in a trailer doing
that's something I
shell
look
game.
for.
Watchmen appearance.
Watchmen reference.
Crossover, yeah.
I like balls out movies and movies that do a lot of shit, but this didn't seem like that kind of movie to me.
Well, Patrick, would you view it, cue it, or screw it?
Screw it.
Okay. Elizabeth?
I'd say cue it. I thought it was a decent horror flick if you'd like to be a little bit creeped out, but don't watch it looking for the devil himself. Expect a minion.
I'd say screw it. I the more I think about it, I do actually. I had fun, but I would never recommend this movie to someone else. There's a lot of potential there, and I don't think any of it's pulled off particularly well.
I agree. There was a lot of potential there. I give this my highest cue it. It could have been a view it if they had just made more of some of the stuff that they had going on in this movie. I'll talk about it in more detail in the spoiler realm. There was a part of this movie where I was like, oh, this is a view it. Then, at the end of the day, cue it.
The highest cue reminds me of They Might Be Giants, where like billed as like an acclaimed indie rock band, and they said that's like being the world's tallest midget.
Yes. Yep, that would be a good way to
this
describe
movie.
this film. Okay. Well, you know what? If you want to make up your own mind, go watch it right now and then come back. Otherwise, we'll just tell you everything that happens so you don't have to watch it. Stay with us. Oh, what's that?
Is someone trying to get into the spoiler room?
Sounds like a knock on the goddamn devil's door to me. Damn.
And we're now behind the devil's door, which is where the spoiler room is located.
Yeah, and if you're
In
here,
case you were wondering.
you're here, you're safe with us now. You're safe from whatever the hell is out there knocking at our door.
Okay, I'm gonna stop doing that. It's fun though.
Oh, it was just Patrick. The only thing more insidious than the devil.
Surprise!
Well, here we are.
Yeah, so I mean...
And there's a lot to spoil
There
this
is
movie.
a lot to spoil. Lots of twists. Lots of dank twists. I mean, we told you one of the twists already about how Charlene kills herself because for a while you think she's actually the modern-day couple's daughter, but she's not. But the big twist is that the devil comes after Artsy's sister, who's only been a supporting character for the entire movie, eventually shows up in her art studio and throws her out a fucking window.
And possesses her.
And yeah, possesses her, throws out a fucking window, and then she wakes up in a hospital 8 months later.
You've been in a coma for 8 months, and you're pregnant.
And she's pregnant.
Like, that's
I
literally
laughed
the
at
line.
that.
I laughed
And
too.
that I laughed as well. But what a horrifying scenario. You wake up from an 8-month coma, you look down, and you have a fully pregnant stomach.
I mean,
that baby's
smart
ready to
move
pop.
by the devil. He knew just what elevation she was at, that she would hit the fucking dumpster and be out for 8 months. So she could not
Intelligent
terminate this
guy.
pregnancy.
Okay, here's
He's so clever.
Here's a practical question that occurred to me that I asked Elizabeth as we were watching. So if you're in a coma and you're pregnant, what if she was in a coma for another 2 months? Can you go into labor while you're in a coma?
You can go into
Can you
labor,
give
but
birth?
I don't think you can give birth because it does require pushing. But your water will break.
Like,
So the
maybe
baby
do
would
a
not-
C-section,
And you could do a C-section.
which is what
yeah.
they do in this movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just wonder what your body would do naturally, like unaided by doctors, if you were in a coma for that long. I mean, you'd have to be aided
Actually,
by
since
doctors
if you
were in
couldn't
a coma
experience
for that long.
pain, maybe the baby would just slide right out.
Baby would just crawl its
It would
way
eventually
out.
like claw out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God.
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's a great horror movie, Coma Birth.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Make that
bad.
one.
Yeah. What was the movie we watched where there was like an arm protruding from someone's vagina as a child was like making its way out?
Oh,
Z
that
is
was
for
from
Zygo?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
Z,
Z is for
yeah.
Zygo. Okay,
Yeah,
It would
Our
be like
favorite
that.
movie that we've watched.
Yeah, basically.
No, but it's and Vera knows. She's like, this is a devil baby.
Because at this point,
Well,
she's
we
already...
see the ultrasound, and
Oh.
it's the fucking devil.
oh.
So, would the doctors not know that? Because she's freaking out because it's a devil.
That
And-
was my favorite.
It's a
part.
mother's intuition. I don't think we're meant to take
with
it literally.
Oh,
That
I'm
was
guessing.
that was the one shot that almost gave this movie a view it in my book.
That was so creepy.
An ultrasound
If the doctors
monitor,
knew, that would be a great movie.
an ultrasound monitor jump scare with
That
the
was
demon
sweet.
face in the womb.
that was so creepy.
Oh, loved it. You gotta see it. Maybe we'll put it on Facebook.
I just like because in that scene you really can't tell because the doctors are sort of like you are having this baby. Like,
well, I mean, they
C-section
can't
or no.
legally terminate at that point.
No, because she's
She's 8.5 months pregnant.
Right. But I like the idea that like they saw the thing on there too. They're like, I don't care if your baby's the fucking devil. I don't care if your baby's Harvey Weinstein. You're having it right now.
Well, yeah, I
I don't
know.
care if your baby's the second coming of Patrick. Anyway.
Another thing that we were... This is probably completely irrelevant and can probably be cut. But do women usually have C-sections conscious, like awake?
Oh, yeah, it happens.
Okay.
If they, I did research on this, and they'll epidural them, and then they're numb. Boom.
Okay.
C-section.
Yeah. Because I just saw...
If you could have seen
in
the
that Black
gesture
Mirror
Elizabeth
episode.
just did.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah. You're
But yeah,
out.
she was conscious.
Yeah.
But and this leaves another mystery because she does have the C-section. She's not happy, and they pull the baby out. It has a normal human body, but we don't see the face. All we hear is the nurse saying, "Beautiful. Would you like to hold your baby?" And she's like, "No, get it away from me."
Loved it.
Yeah.
But what is it? We don't know.
She wakes up from this
just
coma.
Well, it's like Rosemary's
Child.
Baby. We don't see the baby in Rosemary's Baby.
I know,
Right.
but we don't.
She wakes up
Well,
from
we
this...
see the baby in this.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Well, not the baby, but the
Well, that what that creature is. It's not... It's a normal human thing.
yeah. It's not even a
human being.
creature at all, really.
But
Yeah.
I like that because she knows it's the devil's baby because she's talked to what's the girl's name? Total Recall.
Hannah.
Elizabeth. Hannah's the friend, but who's the possessed girl from the beginning?
Oh, Charlene.
Charlene, that's right. Charlene killed herself and was pregnant with the devil's baby, and Hannah is like, everyone thinks Charlene killed herself because she was pregnant, but she told me she was a virgin. She was just possessed by the devil.
Yeah.
And so when she finds out she's 8 months pregnant after she saw the devil, she's like, I know what this is. And I love that. I loved how she was like, I got no time. You want to see the baby? Nope. I got to get rid of it. Get it out of me. Do whatever you want.
She's
She
not
wants
sentimental
nothing to
at
do with this
all,
baby.
which
Not
was impressive
sentimental
because I
at
think
all.
even if I was birthing the devil, I would want to look at something that I grew in my body and birthed.
Yeah.
Well, she looks at it. I wouldn't want to hold it though if it's the devil's baby.
She
except
should have,
maybe to
she should
strangle
have
it.
taken it home and killed it. I
Yeah.
don't know why she didn't.
Yeah.
She gave it up for adoption.
No, speaking of
That
Charlene
is
being
kind
a,
of fucked up now that I think about it.
She's like, here, someone else take it.
the thing about Charlene being a virgin just reminded me of another bizarre thing about all this because Charlene does also reference early in the movie about how
She thinks
he
that-
thinks it would
yeah.
be her first time or something, but he doesn't know that she's a virgin. But the movie opens with them like rolling around in bed naked
It looks
together. What are
post-coital
they
for
doing?
sure.
It does
Yeah.
look post and
Yeah.
she even says our babies would have such cute noses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
And there's-
that confused me more than anything in this movie because I was like,
they're
she's
saying the awkward stuff you say to each other after you just banged and you don't know what to say.
Yeah.
like, your nose is so funny.
Your nose is cute, huh?
Terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the most confusing in the whole movie because I was like, the whole movie, I said to myself, like, well, she's clearly not a virgin because we witnessed her having sex at the beginning.
Yeah, when she said that, you
That's
were
a
like,
really
well,
good
she's
point.
lying, right?
Yeah, I was like, she's lying. But I mean, we didn't actually see P and V, so I guess she may be a virgin. We don't know.
Didn't matter if she's a virgin or not, honestly. I mean,
yeah,
she
the
could still
devil-
have the devil's baby.
As long as she didn't get pregnant by something that wasn't the devil.
Maybe the fucking dude at the beginning of the movie is the devil.
That would make a lot of sense. I like that fan theory.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna write that.
Because he's the catalyst for all this.
Well, we know that Vera is not a virgin because Wyatt Russell was banging her, clearly, in the movie.
If now they have cast Kurt Russell instead of Wyatt, view it.
Just wanders out in his
Yeah, he
boxers.
just wanders out in his
Oh my
boxers.
God.
Can you
Yes.
imagine? And you know he would have done it for free if Wyatt asked him to.
I don't know about that. Why? It's like, hey, Dad, I can't take this role. Will you do it?
Yeah. That's
show you
actually
how
how I'm
it's done,
gonna.
son.
That's actually how I'm gonna make a movie with Clint Eastwood. I've told Patrick this plan. I'm gonna hire what's Clint Eastwood's son's name, who looks like him.
Scott.
I'm gonna hire Scott Eastwood to play like the hero cowboy, but then the end of the movie is gonna take place 50 years later, and I'm gonna be like, all right, I just need your dad for this one scene. Otherwise, you're not getting paid, and we're not releasing this movie. And so Scott will call his dad, and then Clint will show up at the end of the movie and work for free.
You should play it dumber. You should be like, we just need someone who looks like your father.
Do you know anybody who looks like you but like 50 years older?
Who will
We
work
could
for
do-
$100 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, 6
perfect
years
crime.
later.
yeah, so
Yeah.
in this movie, At
And
the
this
Devil's
is-
Door, we fast forward 6 months later.
6 years.
6 years.
later. 6 years later, and this is where the movie
This
got
is-
amazing for me.
Oh my God, this is the part where this movie took a nosedive for me.
Oh, I loved it.
I did not love it.
I guess I was in the
We-
middle. There were some things I liked.
We cut to a scene, young girl
6-year-old girl.
watching the Twin Towers fall on TV. She's
I
watching.
like that better, but
She's watching a disaster scene though.
she's watching
Yeah.
random disasters, earthquakes, wildfires,
Tsunami. It's a
Tsunami.
Yeah.
2016 election.
Her mom's like, honey, don't watch that. So she switches it to cartoon. Her mom leaves the room, switches it back to disaster.
Loved it.
And Vera comes to visit.
Great scene. I'll just talk about because I'm so enthusiastic about this scene.
Ugh.
Little girl sitting at the fucking kitchen table, like with just the creepy eyes, not saying anything. What's her face shows up. The foster mom or whatever goes off into the other room. They're sitting there. They got tea on the stove. The girl's doing a jigsaw puzzle without even looking at the pieces. It's amazing. And then, what's mom here to say? Mom is here to be like, hey, I know what you are. I know you're the devil's baby. I know you killed my sister. You're an asshole.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
Well, she's like, I know who you are.
What's the plan? Am I going to kill you or what? Like, great. Like, no punches pulled with this 6-year-old baby.
True, that's true.
Loved it. I thought, and then, it ends up in, there's like a chase, ultimately. That kind of shit. The kind of shit.
Yeah.
But basically, the girl leaves the room, leaves the apartment, and mom follows her with a kitchen knife. She was ready to just murder this child. And I was like, great, this movie's going to end with a murder of a 6-year-old child. Great art.
Agree. And they chase each other through an empty house. Surprise, surprise. That's a motif throughout this movie.
Which, can we talk about that? Why does the girl run into this weird abandoned
Yeah,
house
I don't
next
know.
door? And more importantly, when her mom goes looking for her, how does she know? Like, the girl's adoptive mother runs into this house next door. She knows that's where they are.
Devil
Again, the
works where
movie
to
was
go.
called Home. The puzzle that she fills is like a
house.
Who's that shitty
Thomas
Thomas
Kincaid.
Thomas
Kincaid.
Kincaid. It's like a Thomas Kincaid house. Like, I don't know what
Shitty.
this symbolism means. I guess the devil's looking for a home, a vessel,
Yeah,
a
it
body
is.
to feel
Yeah.
comfortable in.
Yeah.
But they're trying to conflate that with the housing crisis and the financial crisis of the mid 2000s. I don't get
Interesting.
it. It makes no sense.
But you know
and I
what?
thought the
I
same
love
thing where
it.
they wind up in that abandoned house with it's clearly being renovated or
Renovated.
something. I was like, this is clearly supposed to mean something. There's some
Gutted
influx of impact here,
house.
and it doesn't work.
That's hilarious. Having the devil looking for a home inside a person,
Yeah.
contrasted with Americans looking for a home in the housing crisis.
Immigrants as well.
Immigrants.
The devil's an immigrant.
Yes, it's hilarious.
It actually is a great idea. But it just makes me so upset that this movie didn't deliver on that more, because that sounds like an awesome idea
Yeah.
when you guys articulate it a little more that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, and so that was this is a movie, another movie I would file in the file folder of movies that have shitty second acts. Like the beginning of this movie, fine. I like the stuff.
Fine, I guess.
I like the stuff with selling your soul to the devil, whatever. That's always a good drama. And then the ending, I thought, was stuff I'd never seen before in a movie. I mean, yeah, you could look at The Omen or something but this didn't feel like The Omen or Rose. I mean, obviously, it feels a little bit like Rosemary's Baby, but the ending was great.
Well, let's talk about the
She's
real
got her-
ending.
Yeah, she's got her knife to the girl's neck.
The
Finally.
movie was great. The ending was great until the actual ending.
Yeah.
Well,
Because finally, the chase is over. Vera is holding a kitchen knife up to her devil daughter's neck.
She's got the beady devil eyes and everything.
Yeah, and the girl offers her neck.
Yeah, hey, do it. You won't do it. You won't do it. She doesn't say that, but
And
she
her
says it with
eyes turn black and then go back to normal. So you're like, you see how she could
Very
be sympathetic
anguish.
with her. Yeah, very much.
And I'm on the edge of my seat saying,
Stab her.
slit the throat. Let's do it.
Has there ever been a movie where someone just slashed a 6-year-old's throat on
No,
camera?
I don't think so. And I thought that this was going to be it.
Ooh, I mean, the new It had a lot of child violence in it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some
Was it
fucked up stuff in
righteous? Like, I'm thinking of righteous child
that.
violence,
No,
though.
no, definitely not.
Yeah.
Did we
like-
see a kid get killed on camera in it though?
We see a kid's arm get ripped off. We
Well,
see his
yeah.
brother shoot like the apparition It version of his little brother in the head with a fucking one of those guns that they used to like kill cattle.
Oh, like a nail gun.
Yeah, we see a kid kill another kid. It's not really him, but you know, it might as well be.
Man, I didn't like that movie, but I want to rewatch it now.
I do too. Well, let's get it on Blu-ray.
Let's do it.
Well, yeah, I mean...
I didn't have the bloodlust for the 6-year-old to get killed in this.
Oh, I did.
I was
did.
curious. I was like, what is she
I
going to grow up
wa-
into? I want to see
Yeah.
her
And I love how
flower
she-
into a
sorry.
beautiful devil girl.
I was
Devil.
still sort of a basic human thing. I was just like, oh, I don't want to see him slit a 6-year-old's throat.
I would have been fine with
I
it.
felt
but
like she was the devil.
I mean, she
Yeah,
was
she was the devil.
unquestionably,
Yeah.
but
I
I
know,
still
but
felt weird about
I
it.
didn't feel like she was a kid. I felt like it was just the devil wearing yet another cloak.
another
skin
costume,
suit.
right? They refer to it as a costume.
And
in
I
this
loved
movie.
how our hero, what's her name?
Vera.
This is Vera? Okay.
You remember everything about this movie in explicit detail except the names, and I love that.
Yeah, I know. I remember the names of people are screaming them down the halls and stuff.
Well,
But,
like in Archivo.
Yeah, but she's not the hero. Vera is not scared at all by the
No.
devil, and I love that because of course the devil's scary for the entire movie. But after she's been through what she's been
She
through, where she's
fucking
already
gave
been
birth to it,
possessed
right?
and gave birth to a devil baby, she's just like, you know what? I'm a badass. Like, yeah, I made you. Like, I brought you, what my dad used to say to me. I brought you into this world, and I can take you out.
But the sad thing is she doesn't
loses.
take her out.
She doesn't take her out. They play the fucking Rosemary's Baby card.
So earlier in the movie, we talked about how her sister can't have kids. There's a conversation, a couple of them, where her sister, who we get the sense that like she's maybe like lost a lover or something, and she can't have kids. She lives in this like empty house by herself. She's trying to get her sister to date, to be more serious
Yeah,
with
Lee
Wyatt
wants
Russell.
Vera to have
kids, and she says, I will never have kids. I'm not like you. I'm not going to settle down into a relationship. And then she finally has a kid. Devil or not.
She finally makes her house a home.
Yeah.
And which I'm not.
You're
that may
in
be
the
part
pitch
of the-
meeting for this movie
That
right
might
now.
be
You're,
part of the theme. She's like, yeah, she spares the kid's life, and they like ride off together, a la Gerald and the baby from 13 Cameras.
And the devil child, they're holding hands in the front seat of the car, and the devil child goes, I knew you'd come back for me, Mommy.
Fuck all that. Kill that baby.
Kill it.
I mean, yeah.
She did run a stop sign at the end, and I was hoping there would be a crash.
I was hoping she'd get pulled over.
Imagine
we
it
kill
just
the
ends
baby-
with a cop car.
if we kill the baby, there's no sequel.
What is the sequel?
I want in the devil's foyer.
Okay, so we've all decided this is a lesser demon. What if it got pulled over by a police officer and the police officer was Satan? And it was like, you need to get your shit together, get in the fucking passenger seat. He drives off with the baby. Baby's crying. Satan looks over, says, "Quiet down, Junior." Got the credits. Dank reference for our 13 cameras
just wait for
fans
14
out there.
cameras, Patrick.
Long way to go for that one. But no, actually, that's why this is the reason I said that I kind of want to believe that it is the devil, because that's the devil's MO, right? Knocking up people and having the devil baby. Like, that's, we've seen that time and time again. So the fact that like there was a devil baby, I'm like, yeah, that girl is the devil. As far as I'm concerned, like if you can do that, fine.
To what end, though? I mean, what does the devil want to do with this vessel? That's one thing this movie leaves totally unexplained.
Well,
why is
Rosemary's
Satan
Baby
a threat?
leaves it unexplained too, but it doesn't matter.
No, in Rosemary's Baby, they're like he's the king, like he's gonna take over the world, New World Order. They keep shouting like year one over and over again.
Well, I got
in this
the-
movie, it's just like the devil just like kind of watches TV and makes like put puzzles together.
I got this now. I got the same vibe.
Do it again. That's the whole movie.
I got the same vibe, but it might be because I've seen Rosemary's Baby and I know the trope from that and the Omen of like, oh yeah, he's the Antichrist, he's gonna be evil. But you know, her watching the natural disasters and like just staring at him and flipping back to him, I thought that was
Okay, that was cool in like The Last Man on Earth, where
she's-
David Bowie's an alien and he becomes addicted to television, with like totally forgets his plan for like world domination because he's like, this is intoxicating. But in this movie, it's just like the devil just wants to chill.
Devil just wants to watch TV.
How appropriate that the devil's favorite artist is Thomas Kincaid.
Yeah.
Well,
so I mean, it
that was that movie, guys.
Disappointing ending, I guess. But I mean, the third act of this movie, great. Second act had problems. Third act, fantastic.
Yeah, I liked everything except, you know, this movie would have been a view it for me if that little 6-year-old's throat had just gotten slashed.
Me too. I mean, despite the real estate, it also kind of reminded me of Abattoir because of this kind of second act where we're just kind of fucking chilling for an hour, vaguely researching a mystery. The only difference is here she was just kind of sitting in an empty house, and in the other one she was talking to every townsperson for an hour.
Sounds
But basically the same thing. Now, if the room that Clarice, what's her name?
Which one, Charlene?
Charlene. Now, if Charlene's bedroom had been put onto the Abattoir house, holy moly.
I'd like to imagine that,
Holy
like,
moly.
because we're putting all these movies together on this podcast, that there is like a shared universe.
The horror movies have to start collaborating. Like,
The
I would
Amon
love to
universe.
see, like we said, I'd love to see Gerald from Gerald's Game, like, shuffle through one of these abandoned homes in the background. You know, these
Wait,
people.
you mean Gerald from 13 Cameras or Gerald from Gerald's?
Sorry, Gerald from 13 Cameras.
Okay.
Either.
To totally
Either.
different.
I want
Both.
the Geralds to meet.
Yeah. or-
Gerald v. Gerald, Dawn of Gerald.
Donna Jr.
Dawn of Jr.
I don't know. Or like you said, put the room in Abattoir. Throw it up there.
Anyway, so I would give this movie an almost there out of 10.
Yeah.
So what number would that be?
I
Like
don't,
a pitchfork scale.
almost there out of 10, and hopefully they do something else
9.9?
that's better and has more dead kids. I guess I don't know. There's dead kids are terrible. I don't ever want to see a dead kid.
Christ.
I don't ever want.
All right, so what are we watching next week?
Oh,
guys?
next week, guess what? I think we're going back to Mexico, or at least another Latin American country.
Oh, boy.
We're checking out the Ataúd Blanco, the white coffin.
Maybe you'll see a dead kid.
Maybe they put dead kids in white coffins.
On what occasion would one use a white coffin? That's so interesting. Do we know
If you
what this
die
movie's
on your
about?
wedding day.
I would see that movie.
That'd be great. Or
How do you guys know that's not it?
Or like, you know,
I have no clue, dude.
maybe they put you in a normal coffin, but then they needed something for Tom Sawyer to do, so he whitewashed the whole coffin.
Act 2 of this movie is just a kid painting the coffin.
That's great.
All right, great. Well, we'll see you there.
Yeah, go watch Ataúd Blanco on Netflix. Starts with an A, A-T-A-U-D, I think. And come on over next week. We'll be talking about it with you.
Come on over.
Come on over.
Come on
to my
down.
house.
In the meantime, you know what to do. Find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Leave us messages, reviews, all that stuff. I'm not going to beg, but it'd be nice if you did. And that's it. That's all we got. So for every horror movie on Netflix, my name's Chris.
My name is Patrick.
My name's Elizabeth.
My name is Steven.
And until next week, don't open the knocks on the devil's door.
Don't open the
goddamn
knocks.
door. Don't answer the knocks on that devil's door.
Chris, I'm going to make you say our names sometime.
Goddamn devil's door.
I feel like you might not even know our
Can't you
names.
hear me now?
Say your name right now. Steven. Patrick.
Clarice,
Yeah.
Clarice, Charlene, Hannah.
the hero.
Anyway. All right. We're done.
Okay.
We're done.